ladies! Today I'm going to be talking about infertility. I will tell you that my baby is extremely fussy today, so you might hear him fussing. His room is on the other side of this wall. My husband is with him. I'm not just letting him scream. When my husband and I got married, it's because we had both suffered a form of loss in our families, particularly a loss of children. And we both had a really strong desire to have a family. We wanted, we knew that we could never replace what we had lost, but we wanted to, to fill the hole a little bit. Now, of course, that's impossible, but it was our goal almost immediately to get pregnant and have a baby. It's what we wanted. We were getting married because we loved each other, but we wanted that love to manifest into something else. Now, I had already been told I did not have my PCOS diagnosis at this point, though. I had been told at the age of 14 that I might have problems getting pregnant because I had had a cyst removed from my ovary, a couple cysts, and they had to reconstruct the ovary. They said they thought that it was functional and it would do its job, but I might still have a hard time getting pregnant. So we expected, to wait 6 months, a year trying and not get anywhere. But pretty quickly that 6 months did turn to a year, and that year turned to a year and a half, and we got so discouraged. I remember about a year into trying, I was starting to get a little afraid. Like, I don't know why this is happening. I don't know if we're going to get a baby. And I was truly heartbroken because I would take a test every 2 weeks, just hoping and praying that it would be positive. And I ended up spending 3 years crying over those negative pregnancy tests. The hardest part of that is feeling like a failure at times. Like, you can't give your husband a baby. You can't give your parents a grandchild. And you can't even satisfy your own yearning for a child. And sometimes you feel like a failure. Everybody in my family was really understanding. They didn't pressure us. They knew what was going on. But I still felt the pressure, not only was I craving a baby so badly, and if you struggle with infertility, you know that once you don't get it, you want it even worse. Those 3 years of infertility, that was one of the darkest periods of my life. Because it felt like it was never ending, and I would see everybody around me get pregnant and announce their pregnancies, and I would watch their bellies grow, and they would get pregnancy glow, and then they would have these babies and they would be beautiful, and I would be so jealous. I would be so jealous I couldn't see straight. And it was heartbreaking. I remember many a nights, reading those pregnancy announcements on Facebook or Instagram, and my husband would find me locked in the bathroom crying to myself because it was so heartbreaking. After my PCOS diagnosis, I did understand why I hadn't gotten pregnant. And we went on metformin. We tried just metformin for a while. My period did come back on metformin for about 3 months, and then my period went away. So I stayed away for about 9 months. And I called the doctor in October of 2014. And I said, I still haven't had my period, and I feel like it's sort of dangerous at this point, and I'd like you to call me in some progesterone so that I can have a progesterone bleed. And they did call me in progesterone, but the kind of progesterone they called me in was the off-brand of Clomid, and I had no idea. I had no idea that I was going to ovulate. So I took the pills, and they did not work. And so I was just really discouraged. And in February of 2015, I was so discouraged that my husband and I had stopped trying for a baby. We had started looking into adoption, and I went on Pinterest. I deleted all of my baby boards, all of my birth boards, all of my infertility boards. I just sort of scrubbed my life clean of the hope of having my own child. And I spent a lot of time crying. Once we decided to stop trying to have our own baby, I cried for days. But at the same time, it was, in one way it was like a weight was lifted, and in another way it was as if the weight got heavier, if that makes sense. So in February I went to my doctor and I said, my ovaries don't work and I want you to take them out. And of course my doctor was like, no, I'm not going to do that. And I got frustrated with him because I felt like he was making me suffer from brokenness, if that makes sense. Like, having these ovaries that weren't working was just rubbing it in my face, And so I was frustrated, and he gave me, some hoops to jump through and said, because we have a cancer gene in our family, and he said, if you get the genetic testing and you find out you have the cancer gene and you get your mother's records and all that, we'll talk about this, but I'm not just going to go in there and do that. So I said, okay, and I tried to get her records, and we were set up to do genetic testing, but that was taking a while. And all this time I was really looking into adoption. I had scheduled a seminar for May 13th. May 13th I was going to a seminar to fill out paperwork, get a little bit of information about local adoption, because in our county there are thousands of children that need to be adopted. And I was actually getting really excited about the prospect of it. I was thinking about how I could get my home ready for a home inspection and all of that stuff. But we found out pretty soon, just days before our seminar, that I was pregnant. And it was the best feeling in the world. I'm not going to go into the pregnancy part today. I might do that in another video, because that was a whole other aspect of PCOS that I never saw coming. But I just want to tell you that if you're going through infertility, everybody's going to tell you, oh, it'll happen when you least expect it. Stop trying so hard and you'll get a baby. And those things don't help. Those things, I know that they come from good intentions, but they don't help somebody that is suffering. And when you are infertile and you can't get that baby that you want so badly, and you don't know what it's like to have life grow inside of you, or you have had life grow inside of you and you've lost that life, that is a heartbreaking feeling, and you are so alone. And sometimes not even your husband or your closest companion knows the right thing to say. I spent hours and days, and probably if I added it all up, it would add up to a couple months of just crying over 3 years. Because I was so jealous and so desperate. And I wasn't getting anywhere. And if you're infertile, I know you understand that. I'm sorry if I'm stuttering or taking too many pauses, but I'm really trying not to get emotional, because I do remember so vividly what it was like. But I am going to wrap this up today. I know this was a bit more of an emotional video than a factual video. If you'd like, I can include my next video. I will talk about my pregnancy and how that happened. That was sort of a big surprise. Not just because we weren't expecting to get pregnant, but there were some big surprises involved in finding out that we were pregnant. And so I'll talk about that in the next video I do for Destiny, and I'll try to involve some facts. I'll pull up some facts and, we'll get real smart together. But I will see you guys in Destiny's next video. Bye.